channel. As you can see, I've got my M140i behind us again. In this video guys, you probably already seen from the title, this is going to be a kind of a review, my kind of thoughts around the 2 years of ownership that I've had the M140i. I've done about 20,000 miles as well, so it's going to give you guys my kind of full view on this car, how it's been over those kind of 2 years. So yeah, let's go and obviously do a bit of pan shots around the car, do a bit of a walk around, and then take it back on those sort of country lanes and, you know, give you my kind of thoughts on this car. This potentially is going to be my last video on the M140i, only because I've covered a lot of content on these cars. So yeah, unless there's something drastic that's going to happen to this car, like say like a remap, I don't know, only then the car's going to be featured again on the channel. But for now, this is going to be like, say, my final thoughts on this car. So yeah, let's just go and have a look at it. So guys, here we go. Here's my M140i, which I've had for about 2 years. Off the bat, it's finished off in the sapphire black. It's pretty much stock, apart from the sort of suspension setup. It's riding on 25mm iBack Pro springs on the front and 20mm on the rear, so it's got that kind of a staggered kind of setup. Looks pretty much OEM, but there you go. I've also had the KSP kit fitted as well over the time, so very quickly we've got the KSP splitter on the front, the KSP side skirts around the side, which kind of kick out from here, and then around the back we've also got the KSP rear splats, and I've got the M Performance exhaust, and I've got a Maxton lip on the top. That's the only Maxton piece on the car, which is up there. So another styling modification is these mirror caps. These are the full tray carbon, I think that's what they're called. But yeah, they kind of just give the car a bit more of a kind of a presence and set it off quite nicely. The interior of this car, again guys, very quickly, as you can see, it's finished off in the coral red, one of my favourite colours, and the combinations that the M140i's came with. So it's got the Pro Nav, the Harman card, and it's quite a well spec'd LCI 1 model, basically the first kind of facelift. The rest of the car is pretty much as it is. It has got the adaptive as well, so it's quite a highly spec'd M140i non-shadow edition. That's the thing to note here. The B58, very familiar with all the M140i's and the 340s and the 440s, same engine. This is fairly stock, apart from that the engine cover has been spray painted Estoril blue to obviously match the Estoril blue brake calipers. Apart from that, it's all stock. I have had a few things done to it in the past, like the tuning box and the air filter, which obviously, as you can see, completely off. I'll give you more reasons why they're off as well while we get out there. Nice bit of music. So guys, that was a very quick kind of a walk around of the car, just to update you with some of the things that have been happening to the car. Obviously, if you are new to the channel, be sure to go and check out all of my previous videos on the M140i. There's a lot of content out there if you're thinking of buying one of these cars. So yeah, definitely go back and check out a lot of that content, because it is quite in depth, and that was my purpose for me doing a lot of that content, is to help you guys out there decide if the car's for you or not. So right, what we're going to do now guys is head over to those roads and obviously do the usual kind of drive, give you my thoughts on the car, and hopefully wrap up either back here or out on those kind of country lanes. I just want to say that this video is going to be filmed on my new camera. I've got a GoPro 7 which is already set up in the car, so I'm going to be shooting with that. And I just want to see, and let me know in the comments if you prefer me doing the whole kind of review of cars and what have you on the GoPro. The reason for me using the GoPro is that I just think that for me doing the vlog in the car, it just offers me a better kind of, it's a bit more flexible really. With the camera that I've got, I think it does everything pretty much good in terms of, like say, the pan shots and the drive-bys. I think it's a bit limited to what I can do with the camera when I'm doing the vlogs. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you prefer me doing like these kind of reviews on the GoPro going forward, or would you still prefer me doing them on like this current camera. So yeah, just put it out there for you guys. And like I said before, this video is going to be all about how I found the M140i over the 2 years of ownership to the day. And over the 2 years, I've done literally, I'm gonna round it up to 20,000 miles. It's actually done 19.5, but let's just call that 20,000 miles. So obviously when I bought this car, it was bone stock. There was nothing done to the car, so a lot of the work that's been done to it, like say the lowering springs, the M Performance exhaust, the styling updates, I've had them all done in my own ownership. And if I'm honest with you, the main Achilles heel of this car has been the way the chassis was set up. It's great, if I'm honest with you, but it just had that kind of more of a flex in the corners, a bit of a bolty ride to start with. There was a bit of that wheel hop. So the first upgrade that you've got to really get done to any M140i is just sort its suspension out. There's loads out there. You can go and get the iBack Pro Springs, you get the H&Rs and what have you, but that definitely for me had made a massive improvement. And obviously you can go back and see my in-depth review of the suspension setup that I put on. Put the links at the bottom of this video anyway. The performance on tap of this car, 340 horsepower, but there's usually dyno at around, like say, the 350 odd mark, 360 mark. Again, that's ample power for the type of chassis it is. It's a lot of power, to be honest with you. I had this car dynoed about a couple of weeks ago from MSL, and this thing dynoed around 380 horsepower. Now for me personally, that felt quite optimistic because it is quite stock. I did have a few things done to it. I had a tuning box put on, I had an induction kit put on, but when I dynoed it, those things were off for quite some time, so it's not like there was any trace or anything that was still playing through the internals. So 380 seemed a little bit optimistic. I don't know if that's true or not. It does feel quite strong, that's the thing. The car's always felt strong, like it didn't really feel like it needed more power. So I don't know, the car's always been running on, like say, V-Power. It's always had its servicing well before, like say, that iDrive used to tell me. So currently it's having like a 6,000 mile interval oil change and filters, so it's always running quite well. Maybe that's got something to do with it, but anyway, quite healthily. I think it's producing around 360 horsepower. M Performance exhaust does make a difference because you just get a little bit more kind of like pops and bangs when you're in sports mode. Believe it or not, I'm just in comfort mode and the car's just pulling quite strong as it is. We will flick it into, like say, the sports mode and the sports plus. I recently went out in my mate Phil's car. I'll say recently, only a couple of days ago, who's picked up a brand new 2019 M140i. He has got a few tasteful mods done to the car from BMW themselves. One of them is that he's got the M Performance LSD, and the other one is he's got the Alcantara steering wheel, because after about 20,000 miles the steering wheel does get quite shiny and it just loses that kind of a nice feel to it. So Alcantara steering wheel, I think, looks amazing. There's loads of places you can get them from. His was the M Performance one, straight from BMW. It did have quite a nice feeling to it. The LSD, guys, that is something that changes this car completely. His was riding on the adaptive suspension, same as mine. Adaptive suspension, again, it's a must. I've driven M140i's, the 240i's without them. The car just feels quite jittery all the way along. Adaptive suspension is definitely a must. Most do have them, because it's one of those options that doesn't cost a lot of money, like from factory, if someone spec'd them up anyway. LSD, I drove that car around the same roads as where I was driving this one, and honestly, guys, it felt like it was just glued to the ground. Obviously you had like brand new tyres on it as well. The car only done about 2,000 miles or so, so that plays, there's loads of variables, but I could definitely feel how the LSD was keeping the rear end like literally stable through those corners. This car, guys, has been the longest car that I've owned in my ownership. A lot of people out there who know me, like on a personal level, keep asking me when am I changing, because even for them, they feel like this car needs to be changed. I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, this car is not going anywhere, and the reason for that is, with this engine, this level of power in this package, it offers the best blend of performance, comfort, and as a daily, this car, for example, like I said, it's a 2-year 20,000 mile review. I've driven this car like daily for the last 2 years. I work around about 5 miles from home, so in a week, you know, I'm doing around 50 miles work related. Over a year, I think that works out to be about 3,000 miles a year. Over 2 years, that's 6,000 miles commuter kind of like miles. The rest have been literally for pleasure and my own personal use. And honestly guys, those miles have been filled with smiles, you know, pardon the pun, but literally have been. It's the car that I've driven most and not got bored of, and that for me goes a long way. And yes, of course, you know, there's other cars that I would love to have, and I've kind of thrown some hints, like say I want to, you know, get like an M3 and an M4, and that hopefully will probably happen. But as far as the M140i is concerned, this ain't going anywhere. And certainly it's no garage queen or anything like that. The engine obviously plays a massive part, being a 3-litre straight six. You know, like I say, it's an end of an era. There's not going to be any other hot hatch out there with this kind of setup, being rear wheel drive as well. So yeah, I'm totally like saddened to a point that we're not going to get this, and everything's going front wheel drive and 2 litres 4-pot, and probably electrification in the not too distant future. That car was almost about to take me out just then. So let me just talk to you about the mods that I had done to the car. So the first thing that I had done, again, if you're a regular viewer, I do apologise because you've probably already seen it. I had a tuning box fitted to the car, which was a Blue Spark tuning box. That offered quite a lot of power for, like, say, you know, the amount of money that I spent on it. I think it was like about £170 from memory, and it did boost up a lot of sort of power, and it was all noticeable as well, which was like the best thing about it. For me personally, it was quite a lot of power because of, like, say, where I live and, like, say, the roads that I use, and it just felt like, one, I wasn't getting that power down because of the stock suspension, and I kind of experimented with it. It just wasn't for me, and I kind of thought, you know, let me just experiment with it, give you my thoughts, and then obviously, you know, decide on there where I want to be. So that came off. More recently, guys, I put on that Hypercross Motec induction kit. Again, I did like a video of me fitting it to the car. I was going to do a full kind of review on that Motec induction kit. I just didn't get around to it just because of timing and what else I had on, so apologies for that. But let me tell you one thing, an open air filter, doesn't matter what it is, it's gonna soak in a bit of heat with the engine because it's open and it's exposed to all the heat straight away. I'm not one that goes and chases numbers in terms of horsepower and what have you, but one thing I noticed with that was, as soon as I fitted it and I drove my car and I went on a spirited drive, I could just tell that my car wasn't pulling as much as it was without it. The revs were taking a lot longer to build, and as a result I was obviously quite disappointed. I ran it for a few hundred miles, but it didn't really help the situation, so I just whacked it off. And when I went back out in my car on the same roads, doing the same kind of, like, say, speeds and what have you, my car just felt a little bit more kind of, well, the way it should be. And obviously I know how my car has been because I've had it for 2 years and almost 20,000 miles, so it just didn't feel right. So for me, no, it didn't work. So I kind of like just taken it off and kind of left it at home, like, in that state. So yeah, you know, unless you're gonna map your car, map that induction kit, you know, get the rest of the car to work with it, only then it's probably worth having. It sounded amazing, there's no doubt about that, but I'd rather have the power over the sound. Right, and I'll back the car into sports mode, sports plus. So listen to that, guys. Driven quite a few of the hot hatches, like the, you know, the Golf R, one just went past, Audi S3, the Civic Type R's, you know, the Hyundai i30N, you know, they're very good cars out there. I'll be honest with you, you know, this isn't the most accomplished hot hatch out there, I'm not claiming it that it is, but that engine, the rear wheel drive setup, and that power shove that it gives you, that is something. to slow down. Like I say guys, this thing ain't going anywhere. So guys, if you are new to this channel, be sure to give it a like, share, subscribe to my channel as well, and also don't forget to go back and check out all the M140i content on this car over my 2-year kind of journey. Like I say, this is potentially the last video I'm going to do on my car. Obviously there'll be more M140i's on the channel for those that are like a little bit more kind of tuned or in, you know, that are very different to mine. So there will be more content coming out on the M140i's, but on mine this is probably going to be the last video because obviously there's not much more I'm going to do to the car. After about 20,000 miles you do need to change the tyres because my tyres are pretty much on the limit now, so that's the next thing that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, you know, there might be some content coming up, but nothing drastic or like lengthy as this one. Just thought, you know, thanks for like all the support that you've given me through my M140i journey, and I just thought, you know, I might as well put this content out, give you my kind of feedback after like say 2 years, 20,000 miles, and what to expect if you are, you know, kind of thinking of buying one of these cars. You know, and by all means, if you are getting yourself a bargain for what this car is. Like I say, it's not the most accomplished car out there. There are other hot hatches, but in terms of like say the power, the money, the engine, you're not going to get anything like this again. And you know, it is an end of an era for the M140i, unfortunately, but it is just the way it is. So yeah guys, if you have enjoyed this content, give it a like, share and subscribe to my channel for more car related content coming up. There's a few things in the pipeline as always. Don't forget to check me out on my Instagram, which will come down here. And also guys, you know, hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.